What truly makes a great sports car? Is it the sleek body lines, the loud engine, what kind of drivetrain it uses? Well, you see, Honda chose to answer that question back in the late 90s when development of a certain car began. This car would be unique to Honda because unlike all of their other vehicles, this one was not only rear-wheel drive, but a convertible as well. This car is the Honda S2000. Now I know that sounds crazy. How can Honda, a front-wheel drive car company, produce a rear-wheel drive roadster? Well, you might be surprised to know that Honda actually started off its first production sports car with a high-revving inline-4 that was a rear-wheel drive top-down convertible. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the early history of the S2000 and how its production came to be. In May 1955, the need arose for a people's car. So Honda got to work. They hired nearly 50 engineers in 1957 since they had little to no experience working with cars at all. They would start off in 1962 with a prototype called the S360. However, a year later, Honda revealed the S500 as a full production model. This little roadster had a 531cc dual overhead cam inline-4 making a whopping 44 horsepower with a 9,500 RPM redline. Clearly, Honda was showing its motorcycle heritage. Now, Honda did make an S600, but it was only sold in Europe, not in the US. However, the US did get the new updated S800 model in 1865, which had a striking resemblance to the S600, albeit with some slight changes and tweaks to the bumpers and obviously the powertrain. The S800 was sold as a coupe and a convertible, with a 791cc engine making 70 horsepower at 8,000 RPM, this being Honda's first 100 mph vehicle, and let me tell you, it was quite the screamer. Unfortunately for us, we wouldn't see another S model for quite some time. Honda drew back on developing mass production sports cars and started to focus more on front-wheel drive economy cars for the masses. We wouldn't see anything similar until 1995 at the Tokyo Motor Show, where Honda revealed its Sport Study model, or SSM for short. This was purely a concept car displayed with a 2-liter inline-5 engine that was rear-wheel drive and had an NSX-derived 5-speed automatic. This concept car was great. It was sleek, stylish, and it was topless. Honda teased us with this car for 4 years until in 1999,
it's a 240 horsepower sport roadster. It's a throwback to the old models. It celebrates 50 years of Honda. And I think the key features that you really want to know about here is that it's a fun-to-drive vehicle.
And what is this engine start button you're wearing?
Well, once again, it's a throwback. Mr. Honda was big in racing, and if you remember, the old race cars always had a start button. So our vehicle, the S2000, you hit this start button, 240 horses start revving, you're on your way.
You're on your way. 0 to 60 in
less than 6 seconds. So you can get where you're going very quickly.
And how's it going to hurt my bank account?
It's not going to hurt it at all because this car will come in somewhere around $30,000.
Not bad for all that performance and fun, right?
Fun, and you look good in it, proud to drive it.
That would be the Honda S2000.
With the return of this roadster, Honda showed the heritage of the S-Series and gave us what we wanted after nearly 30 plus years of having nothing close to it in the US. The car had a 2-liter inline-4 instead of the inline-5 shown in the SSM model. Like the video explained, it was making around 240 horsepower with only 153 pound-feet of torque. This was because the engineers at Honda designed the F20C to be revved out all the way to 9,000 RPM, which really woke the car up. In fact, VTEC wouldn't even kick in until about 6,000 RPM, and I'm pretty sure all of you are familiar with Honda's VTEC system. Honda went all in with the R&D for this vehicle. The engine had lightweight forged aluminum pistons, forged connecting rods, a VTEC rocker arm, and an X-bone frame that was specifically designed for this convertible to make it as rigid as possible. The model years 1999 through 2003 were designated as AP1, meaning it had the F20C engine. However, the model years 2004 through 2009 were designated AP2, which had a newly updated F22C engine. So there is a lot of cosmetic differences to both models, and I'll cover them briefly here. First one being the front bumpers. Next, we have the headlights. Then we also have the tail lights, and also the interior did get an update as well. You can notice there's different steering wheels, different stitching, and the center console looks different as well. Sadly, people complained about the S2000's lack of torque. So Honda would make some adjustments, meaning it still made the same amount of power, but now with 162 pound-feet of torque with a new 2.2 liter engine. Although this would shorten the red line down to 8200 RPM instead of the 9000 we all know and love. So we've covered all the basics and talked about both versions, including the AP1 and the AP2. Now let's get to the spicy stuff. So there is special edition models. So Japan would get the S2000 Type S, but for once, we here in America got the best model possible, being the S2000 Club Racer. This car was produced between 2008 and 2009 and saw fewer than 700 units. But don't be fooled, the name isn't the only change to this model. It was given higher spring rates, firmer dampening, stiffer anti-roll bars, a quicker steering ratio, and stickier tires with a bit more rear footprint, 255 versus the normal 245. The CR also had a more aggressive spoiler up front, a big wing perched on the deck lid in the back, and a hefty brace spanning the well behind the seats. That is where the soft top usually stows, but the CR doesn't have one. It actually had a removable hardtop. I'm pretty sure that over the years we can all agree that Honda has made some iconic vehicles and they're definitely going to stand the test of time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and hearing my input on it and trying to give a history lesson about the Honda S2000. I tried to credit all creators down below. I left their watermarks. I'm going to leave links to their videos. I'm not just trying to steal people's footage. I just needed something for you guys to look at while I kind of talked about the Honda S2000 and its heritage. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you're watching this from, and yeah, see you guys in the next video.